Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome as the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors roll into Brands Hatch and on the Grand Prix layouts as part of Super Sunday here at Apex Racing TV. First of the two events of the Weekend Warriors. Later on, it's the SRF, the Ford Spec Racers. They're heading to Brands Hatch. They're going to be on the much smaller Indy circuit though, which is going to be interesting because they have a much larger grid. But a smaller grid here today in the Formula Fords. I say smaller, just a casual 18 cars. So it's not small at all, really. When all said and done, 9 rows. I'm going to say 19 then, and it's going to be fraught, frantic action. Qualifying ongoing at the moment, and then of course into the 40 minutes of racing. I am Tim Cox as always with Lewis and Raya. You know the drill. You know to build the hype because we are going to go racing after we've been through qualifying, and that's the beauty of such a small track because you can get in plenty of laps. But first off, let's just remind ourselves of where we are at in the championship standings. Jason Green leads the way. Don't have him this evening. So, oh no, apologies, we do. He's currently 16th in qualifying at the moment, so he can still extend that lead over Overstreet. Currently lying at, what, nearly 50 points there. In fact, it is 50 points. No, yes. Yes. Don't doubt yourself, Timothy. Don't doubt yourself. Either way, a commanding lead this closing stage of the season. That's looking pretty much like that's going to be his championship all wrapped up. Over Overstreet in second. He's got, well, over 100 points over Thomas Renders, who of course picked up victory earlier in the season. He won in round 4, if memory serves me correctly. The friends Robian fourth, that's Simon Mayer, Ronenberg, Jakeson, DeGassias, Ball, and Addison Hoagie. Of course, ran out winner last week at Lime Rock Park. Spec 2, Roland Wallbank. I always want to call you Richard, and I don't know why, Roland. But you're Roland Wallbank, and you are leading in Spec 2. One last time out in class, of course. Can he continue on that form today? Going to be interesting. He's currently the top qualifier in the Spec 2 category. Tom Laurie, he's well adrift now by what, some 73 points behind Wallbank. Then Gary Walbolt in third, with Coffee fourth. That's going to be pretty close coming towards the end of the season. Lasse Pentikainen had really strong form early part of the season, but hasn't taken part in all the rounds. So that's why he just seemed a bit more cut adrift than what his pace would dictate and probably indicate towards ourselves on the fin. Chris Montgomery, he's sixth. Then it's Montevani, Benner, Griffin, and Caleb Pocock to run out that top 10 into Masters. Well, Antonio Rice leads by 100 points over Jorg Marni. York's just maybe just There's no maybe about it. Just struggled, just been a bit unlucky this season. And that's why he's that far behind. Stevie Ray, not with us, but so close to Yugmani. That gap's going to extend this week, though, with, of course, no Ray. Jim Brewster, 4th, then Murakami, still chance to catch up with Brewster. Running in 5th, then it's Franz Reck, Bradshaw. Nelson is in 8th, then 9th is Love Cantor, and Charlie Vaccaro started picking up the points the last part of the season. Good to see what Charlie's doing and closing in, so he doesn't pick up the wooden spoon, as we say here in the UK. As I said, qualifying well underway. Your current provisional pole sitter is one Simon Mayer. There he is, the German of Sly Racing. Sly about that at 132.68. Half a tenth, 500ths of a second. That was the difference between himself and Ferenz Arabian, the Canadian, currently in 2nd. And then it's Jean Pereira, 3rd. Marnie is 4th, your hot qualifier in Masters. There he is right now, the Swiss driver. And as mentioned, well, it was Roland Warbank. It's now Lassi Pantikainen, 12th overall, and currently your top qualifier in Spec 2. 5 minutes left on the clock. Who is going to claim it here in the UK as we start to get to the business end, as mentioned, of the championship? Who's going to claim the title? The first ever season in the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors, and what a season it has been. Drama aplenty, excitement, unpredictability. It's largely a part, of course, as I mentioned earlier, to this 40-minute race format. A format you do not see within these cars, within the officials. And it's really kept the drivers guessing. It's been a venture into the unknown. Of course, the sister series, was as Hoagie just goes into 2nd. But look at how tight that is. Half a tenth separating our top 3 right now as Jason Green goes into 4th. A good lap from him with a 132.86. I'm sure that, well, just to finish off what I was saying there, I'm sure that this is going to be no different here at Brands Hatch. And who's going to pick it up as, well, Mayer looking strong in these closing stages and is improving as well. Oh, hello, all of a sudden Overstreet says, hold my beer, watch this, and bangs in an astounding lap. She loses it on the exit of turn 1 there, but that's put her all the way up into 1st place. Provisional pole, 700ths of a second faster than Mayer heading to the pits. She will get out again and have another go. There's Yugmani as well. I tell you what, normally we tend to see the times tumble on these latter stages of qualifying. It was pretty much capped out about half to 3/4 of the way through the session. However, not here at Brands Hatch. Going quicker and quicker and quicker are our drivers. So Marnie goes 3rd, our top 3 separated by 800ths of a second. In fact, I mean, 3 attempts covers our top 7. Slim margins, and it's like this all the way down through the field. Coffee, Petscana and Warbank. In fact, Coffee's just gone top of Spec 2 right now. They're separated by a 10th as well. Just take your pick. Take your pick. Roll a dice, and I think that's the only way that you're going to come close to predicting exactly how this one's going to finish. Don't forget, drop your messages in the chat. Love to hear from you all as always. Who do you think is going to pick up victory here today? Well, to be fair, the way it's going qualifying, who do you think is going to pick up pole position? It could go any which way, and it's all about who gets it hooked up. I'll tell you what, Simon Mayer, he's on an improving lap. Yes, he is, as he comes across line. So we have purple in sectors 1 and 2, a personal best in sector 4. And as he cuts the timing beam, what does he manage? Well, he goes that little bit faster, but still remains in 2nd, 200ths of a second slower than Overstreet. Whoa, this was coming right down to the wire, isn't it? We've got 18 minutes, 15 seconds complete, so what, 1 minute and 3/4 left. And by the time I've worked that out, it's nearly down to 1.5 minutes. As there's Gary Walbolt going through a little bit of a spin, a bit of a rotation. That's out of Hawthorne Bend. I think, yeah, he's down the Derek Minter straight. They're just coming up to Westfield Bend. Really fast flowing part of the circuit through there. Absolutely love it. There's a late comer to qualifying. Kane Lasky. And I tell you what as well, another late comer too is Kaj Hansen. So Hansen has been out on 1 lap, 1 flying lap that is, and he had that lap time deleted, whereas this is Lasky's first and probably final attempt here. And oh, well, there you go. There's the curse of the commentator. Apologies, Kane. Man from Northwest America into the wall there. And that was coming out through Dingledale there. Arabian, where is he? Now, he's dropped a little bit, hasn't he? So he was sitting in second place for quite a while, but hasn't really been managed to improve at all. Did have an improving last lap. Well, as I say that, watch, look about that. Look at that. 300ths of a second slower than Overstreet. Only good enough for third, though. Only good enough for third. The second row of the grid with Marnie, who himself was only 800ths of a second slower than Overstreet. I've not seen it this close in a long time. Oh, there you go. Your Marnie goes faster of them all. This is evolving and constantly changing here in qualifying. As the Masters category driver, showing that he is the master of Brands Hatch, goes faster than anyone with 132.585. This checker flag is out. This is the time you've got to complete the lap you're on. Can anyone go faster? Addison Hoagie had a good sector 1, went purple in that, but has not had a good sector 2. He's heading up the hill through Pilkington towards Hawthorne. And this fast, free-flowing right-hander as someone rally crossing right behind him. I think it was that moment Jean Pereira. Dips in, has that slowed him up there on the entry into Westfield Bend, down through Dingledale. Sheen corner next, this blind entry right-hander. He's got to stick it in and hope and pray. Now faith in the car before we slam on the brakes. Through Sterling, taking lots of that curve on the inside. Then slingshot the car around to the outside. Under the bridge, through clearways. It's Clark Curve. All or nothing through here. Maximum commitment. You've got to give it everything. You've got to hit Addison Hoagie. As he comes across the line, is it going to be any improvement? I don't think it... Oh, no, it's definitely not. So he's backed right out of it. That's him done. Shame, really, because it looked like he was putting on a much better final sector, but clearly not enough to improve overall. Not setting times, Lasky and Hansen. Here is Hansen, the man from Scandinavia. And, well, from a cold, chilling country, or part of the world even, sorry. And he's an ice-cold lap here. Clinical. Really punch this out to get himself from what is going to be the back of the grid. Well, that's not happening, is it? So, right, that's Hansen now. He will not set a time. He's setting himself back to the pit. It's Antonio Rice. He's got his lap to complete if he can get around this one. What can he do? Nope. He's not going to get across the line. That's it. It's decided. We are done and dusted in qualifying. Now we're going to head across into the race session. Take you through your grid. Here from Brands Hatch, it's Jorg Marnie on par with Overstreet, joining him on the front row. 200ths a second separating those two. With only 400ths and 500ths from Marnie's time, our second row occupiers, Simon Mayer and Ferenz Arabian. Jason Green, he starts fifth on the third row of the grid, with Addison Hoagie 0.004 of a second separating those two. And to be only less than tenth and a half behind the pole lap, and then to be starting 6th on the third row of the grid, just shows you how competitive qualifying has been here today. Jean Pereira, the Brazilian, he's got Fortullo for company. He'll be having for a good race at his home track. That's a sequential sim sport. Thomas Renders and Antonio Race, they're going to run out your top 10 the 5th row of the grid. Chris Murakami, he starts 11th with top qualifier in Spec 2. It's Richard Coffey of Lorry Electrical Racing. Row 7, that sees Roland Warbank and Lasse Pentakainen. So that's going to be really intriguing. Top 3 in Spec 2, starting right behind one another. Going to be all about what start you can make and how you can get yourself through. Well, certainly Paddock Hill Bend, turn 1. And then down the dip and into Druids. Always a bit of a hotbed of action. Get yourself out of Graham Hill Bend, and I think you're open for a safe race if you've made it through there cleanly. Andrew Love, he's got fellow Masters driver Alan Bradshaw for company. On row 7, row 8 sees Gary Walbold and Tom Laurie line up alongside one another. And then it's Kane Lasky and Karch Hansen, who did not set times in qualifying, and Mark Carter, who's just popped into the session. Didn't even head out onto track, so let's see whether he's going to take the grid. And, well, everyone moving off. So, yeah, he has. He will start by himself, row 11, 21st. Now, let's have a bit of a mention to one of our sponsors. Well, our sponsor for this league is, of course, PDA. You might have seen their logo occasionally pop up into the top right corner. Well, PDA, or Precision Data Analysis, as let's give them their full and proper title. Now, their owner, Ray Phillips, has over 30 years of experience in motorsport and raced open wheels for almost 20 years of that time. He has found a passion in helping others go faster and perfect their craft. He can fill the role of race and data engineer, helping others go faster. No, apologies, missed line there. And or as a driver coach as well, or helping the drivers get the most out of data and video systems. Now, Ray Phillips was a data engineer and driver coach for a 2019 winning championship winning Ferrari Challenge team, assisting multiple drivers on that team. PDA also sells a wide range of data video equipment that can help everyone from a high performance driver education driver to a professional driver, or even a team with multiple cars and drivers. No matter what you choose, customers get the information they need to go faster and have a good time on the track. At PDA, they can help real-world racers, sim racers, and high-performance driver education drivers go faster while staying within their limits. Shall we see what they are about? That's precision driving analytics. Right, we're just around to the back of the track now. Porsche 911 safety car, just keeping the field in check on this formation lap. Okay, racing 40 minutes of action. The drivers will be able to. Will have to take a pit stop. They are limited on fuel. Strategy always plays a part. It's the Porsche 911 safety car just pulling in right now. Marnie takes control of the pace. Let's get ready to go racing from Brands Hatches. We are green and we are away, and there's no hanging around. Gets the jump on over the street, but it's all about that midfield where they're sizing each other up. Two wides are plenty, even a bit of a free wide in the background there as we head through Pilgrim's Rise for the first time and up to Druids. Does everyone remain orderly? Do they all behave? Is there going to be any contact? I think they've all made it through. A little bit wide there in the background. I think that's Lassie Pensacola, who's not had the best of starts. Adam Bradshaw, he's at 3 places so far. So's Karch Hansen from the back of the grid. He's up into 17th. Tom Laurie's up a couple of spots too. Other than that, they're all remaining calm, remaining where they are. They know this is a marathon, not a sprint in these cars. So head out of Surtees. It's this long stretch, trying to slipstream one another through Pilgrim's Droppers. There's Ford Tullow just holding up Antonio Rice. He's managed to get ahead of Thomas Renders in these opening stages. On the back of the circuit, and there's only really one line through here, but you try telling these guys later on in the race, they'll find a way to make it too wide. Through Dingledale, in towards Sheen. Blind entry corner, and there goes Murakami up the inside of Renders, squeezes wide, gets him onto the grass. Renders holds it and holds on to second place. Also a big incident in the background there. I think it's Lasky, Hansen, and possibly Carter all involved. We're going to replay of that in a second, but wow, that was a big incident. Lots of people tripping over there. So there we go. There's Lasky in the 20 machine. We've got Andrew Love just behind us. Oh, so right, it was where they were going to the grass, just a little bit unsighted there, and in the end, well, it was Carter and Lasky, the ones that got caught up in the action. Love's into the pits, so's Carter. I get the feeling Lasky may well be joining very, very shortly. He's going slowly out on track, so I think that's him going to be heading into, and that could well be their race is done and dusted with already. This early stage, 2 minutes into the race. Yorgamani leads over Overstreet, then it's Maya, Arabian. Hoagie is 5th, Green 6th. Pereira, Tullo, then second place in Masters is Antonio Rice, third in class around our top 10. Christopher Murakami. Then Richard Coffey leading in Spec 2, of course, was your pole sitter, Bradshaw. Up four, well, I would say up 4 places. Here comes Thomas Renders up the inside through Hawthorne Bend, gets the move done. Coffey still holds on to that lead in Spec 2, but now outside, sorry, Renders, Bradshaw even still remains in class 4th, but down to 13th overall. Renders sneaking up inside to that 12th place. Needs to get a wiggle on though, because next car up is Murakami, who's somewhat 1.1 seconds down the road from him. However, there's a big long train of Renders, Bradshaw, Mulbank and Pentakainen and Laurie and Warbolt all following behind the American of Laurie Electric Racing. They do not want to be cut adrift, as looking for a bit of a move once again. Bradshaw wants that place back from Renders. He's not going to get it done there. Sadly, with that line right now, was a little part of the sizing up exercises. Here comes Renders up the inside of Coffey. Will Bradshaw look to follow him through? Can't find it. Gets blocked in traffic. There's not a clear line for Bradshaw to follow Renders through. Renders says, I want to take control of this, then ends up running wide and loses control. A great evasive action there from Richard Coffey and Andrew Bradshaw. So Adam Bradshaw even. They then touch there. This is feisty in the midfield. And you've got to feel for Renders. Now down to 16th as that train just made his way past. Pushing that a little bit too hard. It costed him dearly. In fact, he's got past Tom Laurie already, so he's up into 15th. However, lost ground, time and positions of that poor start from him, and it's just cost him so dearly. Meanwhile, just a bit further up the road, Tullo, he's at the rear of this group that's headed up by Jason Green. Antonio Rice in there too. I do believe, I know, apologies, yes, it sounds Hoagie at the front of it. So our top 4 really starting to break away a little bit right now. Admani, Overstreet, Mayer and Arabian. And they've got 2.2 seconds back to Addison Hoagie there, 5th, as mentioned. The winner and really dominant last time out at Lime Rock Park. So look back from Marnie and you see just how much he is being pushed by Overstreet right now. Up, trying to find the momentum, because that's what these cars are all about. It's all about the momentum, carrying the speed through the corners, especially when you've got an uphill exit like you have out of Surtees. It's really going to kill off any power, any sort of momentum. This is Simon Mayer's perspective. See, he's just sitting back a little bit right now. Sitting back behind Overstreet and Marnie, trying to work out what they're going to do. Doesn't want to be part of it. Of course, Mayer was holding on to pole position for quite a while. But Overstreet and Marnie, they've picked into him. And definitely, Marnie and Overstreet looking a little bit more comfortable with their cars, pushing a lot more wider in comparison. That's what Mayer does as they head out of Sheen. I think something's happened to Renders again, because he's seen he's dropped a few more places as well. I think this replay is going to give us some answers. So out of Graham Hill, down Cooper straight towards Surtees. Lose the rear, too much speed in. Oh wow, that was very close to Gary Walbolt. Very, very close indeed. As something happened to Addison Hoagie, because I'm watching him drop through the order like a stone. I think he's come off track potentially. See, now has he been for a little trip through the gravel trap on the exit of Paddock Hill? So easy to do. I'm very familiar. Oh, you see, just had the snap of oversteer, went to correct it, and a bit of a kiss with the barriers, but we'll probably get away with that one. But he's retired. He's headed straight to the pits. What looked like a great result for him is now really changed around as it's all kicking off here. Everyone trying to get a bit of a move on with seeing that people dropping in and dropping out. Green is 5th. Then it's Reese, Pereira and Tullo making up that top 8 right now. Just in the background there, you can see having a go. There comes Ford Tullo and gets the move up the inside, the Brazilian. Pereira down into 8th. So those two swap around position. I mean, Racing's had a incredible start. He's at 4th place. He's not as good as you see Gary Walbolt there at the back of this 2-car train. Tom Laurie's up 6 already. So we're not even at quarter at race distance, and they have just dropped a little bit back off Tom Laurie in front of them. Sorry, Lasse Pentikainen even. They're 1.6 seconds behind there, but they're working together and they will close up that gap. As into the pits comes Adam Bradshaw. That's a very early stop at the 8-minute mark. Now, full fuel will get him home to the end on that. But even so, he's going to be lugging around that heavy car for so much of the race. It's not what he will want. But maybe he spotted it, a bit of clean air. And get the hammer down and try and play the undercut and get some more places gained. Give himself a bit of better track position. Meanwhile, back to the front. These four just, well, the top 3 of Marnie, Overstreet, Med starting to eke out that gap over Arabian. You see him in the number 2 machine, just at the little back of this little group here. He's, well, was 7/10. He's brought it down to 6. He's brought it down to half a second as they change to the lead. Overstreet sends it up the inside there of Marnie. And in a flash of the light, Arabian brought right back into the mix here. They have opened up a considerable gap over Arabian, who is no, Jason Green, who is no slouch whatsoever. Was previous race winner was Jason Green in this series. The gap currently standing at 3.7 seconds. So the ball with Arabian. Won't want to lose touch with these again, but he does know, just how much time they will lose when they do start battling. It's on the brakes, up the hill, into Druids, hooking up on that inside for you, slingshot the car out to the left. Downhill, through Graham Hill. It's been interesting to see, so many of our drivers haven't gone for overtakes in the more conventional of places. So overtakes have pretty much come through the back of the circuit between Westfield and Sheen. It's through Dingwall, that bit of a kink that's just before it for the blind apex that is Sheen's curve. As these two still scrapping our way. Fortello's lost a few places. Now, as you know, apologies, he's not. Petskanen just in front of him. He's into 11th. Or maybe he has, as we're seeing a replay. Come off track. That's what's caused him to lose. Oh no, he's lost the rear there down at Graham Hill. The site of where the rallycross track normally goes. Tello maybe thinking that he wants to take that line. Definitely not the quickest, certainly in these cars. And around he goes. Demotes himself down to 11th place. Because he'd had a really strong qualifying, had the Brit, and expected to see him run well here at his home race, but it just looks like the Kirsten commentator back again. Punishing anyone. I seem to heap praise on at the moment, as the top 4 still really, really close. Overstreet, Marnie, May, Arabian. Gap's pretty consistent at between 2 and 3 tenths between each and every one of them. Maybe Marnie just electing here at this stage of the race just to sit behind Overstreet, trying to save some fuel. Because Marnie had left for probably about 5 or 6 laps before Overstreet took control of the situation. And it's opened up a 3 tenths gap over Marnie. And this will ebb and flow throughout the race, so nothing to worry about whatsoever. There's retirements already. Addison Hoagie lost him on lap 4. We're currently on lap 8 right now. Mick Carter, we lost him on lap 2, and Kane Lasky all the way back on our opening lap. He was caught up in that incident. Really, really impacted his race and cars, and they to continue. Of course, these cars being open wheelers, exposed suspension, so easy to damage it that will just ruin your race. No way to fix it. Like their tin top equivalents. Still remaining calm. Still remaining consistent. So we look across to the chat. Marco Pinero there. Good to see you. Forward to seeing you later on in the SRFs. The Ford Spec Racers. That's where we'll be back about an hour after we finish this broadcast, which is... Let's have a look at some exact times. So that's going to be 10 to 9 British Summer Time. We'll see you then for those drivers taking on, well, they'll be turning right just where they are right now on track through Surtees. They're heading off round back into Clark Curve. Around the Indy layout of this track. Going to be fascinating to see. Always big grids in that series. No different here today, I'm sure, whatsoever. We'll see quite a few of these drivers as well. So I expect to see our top 4 right now. They will all be there and involved. And in fact, Antonio Rice has got past Jason Green off camera somewhere. Good move for the Portuguese driver. Doesn't, of course, affect anything in classes. Just overall, of course, Antonio Rice from Masters, Green from Spectrum 1. And Green just maybe lacking a little bit of consistency. Struggling a little bit at this stage of the race right now. I know we're only 13, 14 minutes into this, plus a bit of change. It's a long way to go. So we've got 26 minutes left on the clock, and you can see just how the lap times have differentiated. Green really losing out on lap 8. That's where the move was done. It's where I lost all of that time. So they calmly make their way through. Antonio Rice needs to get the hammer down here. Needs to try and make some sort of impact on that gap. Now it's grown to 4.6 seconds, made that 4.7 in fact. For Arabian, that lead group just don't seem to be battling. Playing safe right now. Nobody truly wanting to lead it. I mean, we had Marnie for a while now. Since Overstreet got past Marnie, Marnie said, okay, that's no problem. You take the lead. I'm going to fuel save here. And it seems like that's what it's going to come down to. Who's got that pit strategy absolutely nailed on here? Take them away all the way to Victory Road. It's further through the field. Still your highest gainer is Tom Lorry. He's 12th, currently up 6 places. He hasn't got much of a mountain complaint compared to Antonio Rice. He's only some 1.6 seconds behind Coffee, hello, Murakami. Also pretty much no. Sorry, Coffee, Tello, and Pentakainen even. You can actually see just in front of them, only 1.5 seconds the gap there. So he looks to hunt them down out onto lap 11 as we just head towards the 16-minute mark here from Brands Hatch. Of course, the site of a very different first ever race here. The circuit has changed quite a bit since its inception, all the way back in 1950. Followed, well, what was more similar to the Indy circuit all the way back then. Without the exception of for this part of the track they're here now, this was added a little later on. Back in 1954, so 4 years after its birth, although he didn't have quite, he hadn't had the hill quite as much compared to what you do now. And where the hell are you through now? This is actually called Kidney Bend. Of course, is Surtees after the late great John Surtees. The first ever race here was between cross-country runners and cyclists. I guess it's who won. Put your notes in the chat. Who do you thought won between those two? I'll let you know later on in the race. Just a bit of a skipping across the curbs there and the track. To look back from Coffee. Tello really looking aggressive right now. That 27 machine closing in on Coffee, the American, absorbing the pressure. Definitely needs the caffeine boost that a coffee would give him right now. To have his wits about him. He knows full well that Tullow will be making an impact, will be finding his way past. If he gets half a sniff at it, he has looked to the outside. Coffee squeezes him, he heads down low. Can't cover it off here, but you can make the move right around the outside if you're brave and if you're committed. But he's looking for the switch back. Here comes Tullow. Can he carry on the momentum? Has he got it to get the move done into the Druids onto brakes? And yes, he does. As Pentakainen sits back in the wall, unable to do anything, unable to follow Tullow through. So Tullow up into ninth, Coffee down into 10th. He's still up 2 places though, likewise. Also leading Spec 2, but that's not the best of exit from Tullow and from Coffee. And here comes Pentakainen for the lead in Spec 2. He moves to driver's left of Richard Coffee. Hasn't quite got the overspeed to get this one done. Coffee being towed along by Tullow this stage. Out of Hawthorne. Through towards Westfield. I love this section. It's just so tight. So fast flowing. Blind entry into Sheen's. Kiss the curb on the inside. Running to the left. What has the Finn got in his locker? He needs to find something. He needs to start running around it because we're fast approaching half race distance. So, just having a bit of a look. I've just had a word in my ear. And there it is for you on your screens. Your Marnie has taken control of things here. Back past Overstreet. Into the lead from Brands Hatch. Interestingly, starting behind him are all Spec 1 drivers. And 3 of them, Overstreet, Mayor, Arabian. Now, that's the podium in class, and they're looking very safe for that right now. However, only 2 of them can make it onto the podium overall. Assuming Marnicol is on this dominance, and I don't see why he wouldn't. He's going to be the one to lose out. I mean, Foreman would say right now here today from qualifying, Overstreet and Mayer make it and Arabian misses out. But don't discredit the Canadian. Never do that. Because he will find a way past. When we get down to the business end of this race, we get inside that last 7 minutes. He will be looking, he will be pushing, asking a lot of questions if it's Mayer still in front of him. But has he managed to pull out some pit strategy? I think this could play a large part. He has been sat quietly behind all these drivers for so much of the races. There we go, peeling in. Comes Simon Mayer at the half race distance mark. He goes early. Is that going to be wise? The undercut, is that going to work for him? Pit box right down the end of the pit lane. Just behind that Porsche 911 safety car. That's coming through now as these have remained, well, no, they've remained, apologies where they are. I thought they swapped around a little bit, but they are being caught more crucially by Lorry and Wallbolt. Well, that was something quite a bit more interesting because out of these 5 cars, 4 of them are in Spec 2, and they are our top 4 in class as well. So they are going to be scrapping this out here for those podium positions. Tom Lorry, the man in form here, of 3 places in class, up 7 overall. Just running wide a little bit there. I think that was, Warbolt, and it's not that you can shout off just how hard he is pushing because he wants to be part of this fight. Every step of the way, he does not want that to let them get away from him because he falls out of draft range. That is it. It's going to be hard for him to clamber back up unless they start attacking one another like they're doing. Tullow's escaping now as Coffee and Pentakainen go at it wheel to wheel. Pentakainen dips back in. He then tucks it behind. Knows he can't get a well, I say knows. We've seen so many overtakes in this part of the track already. Is that bit too far back? He seems to be looking a little bit more confident than what Coffee does. It's Antonio Rice, he's into the pits. Oh, and here comes Pentakainen. He's got it hooked up. He's sizing up corners in advance. He's got the overlap right around the outside. Can he make it stick? Can he make it down? Well, he's going to have it a lot easier as Coffee comes into the pits. And Pentakainen resumes control of what this group didn't include Tilo. Tilo is now 1.6 seconds on the road, not wanting to be part of it, running in his own field. Now we have Pentakainen, Laurie and Warbolt, 8th, 9th and 10th overall respectively for those three. Our top three currently in Spec 2, however, don't discredit Richard Coffey. Let's not forget he is into the pits. He's still very much part of this battle. Talking about being part of battles. These top three still are all over one another now. Simon Mayer he's the highest driver to pit. So let's have a whereabouts is he? So he is well down as we would expect him to be. That's no issue right now. He's allowing his own furrow. He's in his own lane. He's 12th overall. And crucially, he has got a big window, big open spaces. Try and eat into that lead that Marnie had over him. Only a fraction one. It's Arabians in now. Now this is going to be our acid test. Has it worked out for Mayer? That big undercut, or was it the bad choice? Marnie and Overstreet, they keep going. There's Arabian in. Keep an eye on whereabouts is Mayer, 12th place Mayer. So there he is coming through the final corner. Is he going to do it? Has it worked out? So still in this pit box as Arabian finally gets going, but Mayer's done it, and he's going to come out well in advance here. But at the time that Arabian gets up to speed, and Mayer now takes control, it's worked for him for now. Look at the gap he's opened up, 3.8 seconds. The German is absolutely flying here. Has he done enough against the rest of them? I would argue he has, hasn't he? Because, I mean, they were lapping at a very similar pace with Marnie and Overstreet. There's Laurie into the pits now. Actually, no, he's been... Oh, no, that's all gone wrong for him because he's been stationary for a while. Oh, no. After such a strong race from Tom Laurie. As producer Lewis saying maybe speeding in the pits, and I think that could be a very, very wise and correct analogy, as yeah, he's got going after 57 seconds. Drivers on average stopping for about 17. Now, Simon Mayer, only stationary for 13 seconds, stopped earlier than what Arabian did, who was stationary for 17 seconds. Has Mayer got enough fuel on board to get himself home? The speed differential is really working out for him. 3.5 seconds the advantage he's got over Arabian as Pentakainen and Renders visit the pits. But has he got enough fuel to get himself home? He has to start fuel saving. Then Marnie and Overstreet come back into play. You never know until the checkered flag flies in these series. Just how it's going to pan out. Who's going to come out on top? Will it be Marnie? Will it be Overstreet? Or the bookie's favourite, as it's looking right now, Simon Mayer, currently 8th overall in the number 5 machine. So as Pereira's made his way past Green, and that is actually a change for position that's not pit stopping votes, as those two both out on track. So Green really struggling by his own standards here right now. Don't seem to get the car hooked up whatsoever. He's dropped a fair few. He's up one place, it shows at the moment on our timing software. However, let's not forget what 2 or 3 drivers in front of him have already stopped. That puts him out at least 6th place, bare minimum, after adjusting for pit stops. So clearly Brands Hatch is not the friend of Jason Green. It's just having a bit of a look. So track temperature's nice and cool. Well, I say nice and cool, you know, about right at 32 degrees Celsius. Ambient is 22 degrees centigrade. Just see him heading up through Druids down the hill towards Graham Hill Go. It is currently our 2nd and 3rd places in class. However, as mentioned, there are Jovas which are bearing down on them, setting faster lap times. Got the words out eventually than those two, and they are Maya and Arabian, although I've just said that, and they've actually gone slower last time around by a couple of attempts. But Marnie, you can feel he is digging deep, and he's a Masters driver by age, but that age and experience is clearly coming into its own right now, as Overstreet just not seem to have an answer for the Swiss driver. 27 minutes already complete here from Brands Hatch. So Marnie and Overstreet, they are your top two with Pereira, Green and Tullo, but those 5 are all yet to stop. Crucial one, that is Simon Mayer. Here comes Marnie and here comes Overstreet. Right, so now we get to find out, has Maya done enough? Where's Arabian going to come out in relation to these two? There's Pereira. Also there's Mayer. Wow, across the grass. That will not help his case, but he must have seen there into the pits. He is pushing to the absolute maximum as Pereira's in. Green's gone again, so he's maybe trying to fuel save his way around this one. Marnie and Overstreet still stationary. This is looking very, very good as Marnie gets going again. Here comes Mayer, but he's coming flying through a full chat. Overstreet out just behind Marnie. And Mayer takes control of things here at Brands Hatch. But it's not the dominant display like he had over Arabian, but where Arabian is slotted back in. So Overstreet is slotted back in against Arabian. Now she's lost a bit of time to Marnie. She's about 1.1 seconds down the road. Still not done and dusted, but not as close as she would have hoped for. She would have wanted, because she came out really, really close behind Marnie when they came out of the pits. So she's lost a bit of time as they headed, through Hawthorne Bend and up the hill towards Westfield. No, sorry, through Paddock Hill even and towards Druids. So there's Renders past Tullo for 9th. Renders been on a real recovery drive. It's quite early. Well, I say quite early, about 2-3 laps earlier than many of our drivers. He stopped on lap 16. We're currently on lap 19. As Green is into the pits, has all that fuel saving helped him at all. Where will he come out? They should come out just behind Pereira, which will be 6th, of course, because Pereira currently in 6th, but everyone's shuffling up 1. The Green being top of the list right now. As you see, Andrew Love just in the background there. He's one of our retirements, and talking of retirements is Bradshaw. We lost him on lap 16 as wow, that is Marnie sneaking past Mayer there, and in doing so don't manage to pull time as Overstreet and Arabian, the 2 Americans, scrapping it away side by side through Druids. They've given up on the chance to fight for the lead. They're fighting it out at 3rd, with still with 9.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Green does come out in 6th. Only 8 tenths behind Pereira. So, 2 close battles. 1 for 1st, 1 for 3rd, 1 for 5th. Also, to be fair, the 1 for 9th between Renders and Tullo. So, the classes, Marnie leads Masters, Rice and Murakami. 2nd and 3rd in class. Here comes Arabian. He's closing, he's catching, he's sneaking up the inside, and he slingshots himself into 3rd, ahead of Overstreet, into Hawthorne. Job done for now. You know, Overstreet will reclaim that back from him. She's got it within here. And then onwards, well, it's advantage her, but temporarily, it's Arabian will claim that one back. So look back from Renders. Not as successful there as for Tullo in that 27 machine. He's had a really good recovery. Actually, both of them have, especially Tullo. So he's making his way past that Coffee, Wobot, Pentakine, and Conundrum. He has put some, 3.5 seconds clear of them. So some real solid work there on the Brit. Time really, really ticking down now. Fast approaching, 8 minutes remaining here. Who's going to take this one? Place your bets now, folks. So now, the answer to the question that I know you'll desperately want to hear is Tullow ahead of Renders. First ever race between the cross-country runners and the cyclists. Well, winners were cross-country runners. Useless fact for you 101 there about Brands Hatch. Ooh, they're slight anomalies, to be fair. But they, in all fairness, cross-country runners, it was all the way back in 1928. And the cross-country runners did have Australian world champion Jackie Hubin among their numbers. And that definitely did help them. I think a lot of them need to invoke the spirit of Hubin right now to try and get their moves done to make progress. Overstreet, definitely one of them. Arabian, looking infallible. Like he's not going to crack right now. You know Overstreet, how plucky she can be. Across the start finish straight onto lap 22, 33 minutes completed. So, Masters, that is Marnie who's first overall, then Murakami and Racers, so she gets a bit loose there, 7th and 8th overall, 2nd and 3rd in class. Spec 1, well, ironically 2nd in class, but for now, Maya hot on the heels of Marnie. They're starting to fall away just that little bit, with Arabian and Overstreet swapping places, swapping positions, and potentially even more so running out that podium. Spec 2, Pentacine and Liam, they're just starting to spread out a bit, and that's sad because it looked like we were on for a grandstand finish between those two. He's at 3 places in classes, so is Gary Warbolt, although Warbolt has climbed 5 places overall. With Coffee rounding out that Spec 2 podium. He's actually down a place, having started 2nd in class. Just see now the lap time differences between those top 2 and how they've been able to pull it away as Yogmani. 6 tenths and then a further 10th in those last 2 laps, and that's now 1.5 seconds. I think he's going to have grown it. Well, I know he's going to have grown it even further as he comes across the line. And in fact, look at that behind them. So much so that Maya is being brought into the clutches of Arabian and Overstreet, and this all of a sudden just became, oh, there's a spin, and that's Maya, and he's gone. All the hard work, the undercut was working for him, and he's lost it into turn 1. The long lazy spin, and there's nothing you can do about that one, Simon Mayer. Nothing whatsoever. He could even fall off the podium in categories, down to 4th overall. He will not make it onto the back of our 2nd and 3rd place drivers overall. 1st and 2nd in class is Arabian and Overstreet. However, these two are still going at one another. I mean, it may only be for 6th and 7th in class. 6th in class, 9th overall. Doesn't stop them, does it? For Tullow and Thomas Renders. Britain versus Holland. Now, Renders has got skin in the game, as mentioned. He's already picked up a victory already once this season. And he's having a look. He's having a look until I says, yeah, I know you're there. I know you're there, Thomas. You just sit behind for me right now. When does he want to make his move? How late does he want to make it? As he just has to check up a little bit there. Has to sit back. Has to bide his time. And Render's definitely the quicker of the two. Is Tullow going to crack under the pressure that's being applied? As every corner comes by, Renders just turns the screw that little bit more. Going to the start-finish straight. We have got fast approaching 3 minutes left, 37 complete here from Brands Hatch in the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors on Apex Racing TV. Here we go. Who's going to take it? Will it be Tullow? Will it be Renders? Will it be Murakami or will it be Rice for second and third in Masters, 7th and 8th overall? And then for second and third, and that win in class, Arabian versus Overstreet. Don't go anywhere because this is about to kick off majorly. And where is Marnie on the track? So when he comes across the line, he's going to take the white flag. That's going to mean one more. Oh, hold on. Will he? I'm trying to do my maths here. 38. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's still going to have another lap to do. The white flag will not be out by my calculations. Let's have a look. There's Bardi. He's not waving his flag. That means got this lap. And then another one to go for Arabian. Murakami and Tello to hold out against Overstreet, Reese and Renders respectively. Can they do it? I mean, Renders is looking the most crucial right now, the most aggressive, the one most likely to make an overtake, but he's just toying and playing with Tello. Race isn't moving, hanging around. Murakami says, if you want to come past me, you've got to do it the hard way, all the way right around the outside, but Race knows that he can make the undercut, can't make it stick. Murakami goes defensive. Just positioning his car in the middle of the track, and Race, well, he's like the wolf when he got to the brick house for the three little pigs, and he's huffing and he's puffing and he can't blow that house down right now. Oh, Tello's made a mistake, he's dropped off. I've just seen from the timing tower that he's descended, and Render's looking comfortable, so much so that's Pentakainen in front of him. And it's all gone wrong for Tello, and he cracked under the pressure from Renders. Let's take a look. So they head up the hill towards Druids. Does he just loop it round, carrying the speed through? Oh, he touched the grass. Gutting for Tello of sequential Sunsport. Wow. Back to live pictures here we go. They've all got closer. White flags in the air. One lap left to go. Arabian versus Overstreet, 2 temps. Whereas Murakami and Race have got a bit further apart. Race has made a mistake and he's lost a good half a second or more. There we go. I mean, can he close that one up? As the late great Murray Sork said, catching people is one thing, passing them something completely different altogether. I think that's looking safe for Murakami. But I can't say the same about Arabian. With Overstreet as she drifts the car, just wagging the rear end of the car like a dog's tail. She headed through 30s. Through Pilgrim's Drop for the final time. Through Hawthorne Bend as she closes in. There's Overstreet. And can Arabian defend? He knows he's safe through here, but Overstreet's made a move already through this part of the track. Arabian runs a bit wide. He's hanging on for dear life. He goes defensive. He says, no, you're not having it through here, Megan. You're going to have to sit behind. And Overstreet knows she's running out of time. She's running out of opportunities. Through Sterling's, trying to hook it up, but he's got a good ace. It has Arabian. He may well hold on to that one. As Marnie's going to come across the line, he's going to take victory here today at Brands Hatch. An impressive victory by 5 seconds, having led so much of the race. But an Arabian, there's going to be a race to the line, but he will hold off Overstreet. In the end, just not quite enough time. As Race has made up a whole heap of time at the start of this lap. He was 8 tenths behind. Now Murakami in a lot of trouble as there's only a tenth between the pair of them as they drag Race it down. We look down from the drone. And the Race has a look up the inside, tries to force Murakami wide, but he's got covered off, and Murakami will hold on. Will he? Will he? Because here comes Race right to the line, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and by half a car's length, Murakami takes second in class and 7th overall over Antonio Rice. We're still not done. Because they're towards the 10 of the field, but they're still on their final lap, and it's Laurie versus Wallbank as they go at it. Right, Laurie is ahead. He's got the move done over Wallbank, but what can he do? Can he make his way back past? Can he retake that 14th place, 4th in class? Laurie he's had a really yo-yo race, had a really stunning start, and then that mistake early on cost him dearly. But here comes Wallbank. He's got a better exit. He's closing, but it might just be that little bit too late. It all comes down to the final turn now. Who's got it right? And a lot of the curb and a bit of the grass there from Laurie. And as much as Wallbank is closing, I don't think he's going to get it. I mean, he's going to come right alongside, but it's going to be half a car's length. Like we saw in the Murakami race, Basil. Wow. What a finish. What a finish. I mean, that really horsed it up towards the end there. Here are some classified results for you. Yugmani taking the victory by 5 seconds. Arabian beating Overstreet to second overall, and that win in class by 3/4. Well, just over a tenth in the end was all the difference between those two. Mayer, if he hadn't made that mistake, he would have been right there with him. That would have been fascinating to see. At the end, third in class is all he can manage fourth overall. Then it's Green, Pereira, McCormy and Rice. Inseparable. 300ths of a second at the line between those two. For 7th and 8th overall, and 2nd and 3rd in Masters. Thomas Renders finishes 9th. Then Lasse Pintakainen pits at the victory in Spec 2. And to run out of that top 10 for Tolo. Well, he was on for a great battle with Renders right towards the end, but came off track. Comes home 11th. Warbolt and Coffee, 2nd and 3rd in Spec 2, 12th and 13th overall. Then it's Laurie who made that pass into Hawthorne Bend on that final lap to nick off the depth. 14th place away from Roland Wallbank, who comes home 15th. Then we're into the retirements. Bradshaw lost on lap 16. We completed 26 laps here today. Andrew Lev lost on lap 14. Hansen on lap 12. Hoagie on lap 4. Carter lap 2. And on the opening up was Kane Lasky. Let's have a bit of a look. Have we got anyone popped in for a bit of a chat? And yes, we have. And we'll start with our race. Well, our race winner and our class winner, Yugmani. I mean, that undercut that Simon Mayer made, it was looking up. Did you have an indication of maybe just how close things were going to be and him coming out the pits even ahead of you?
No, not at all. Just F3. But I knew something is going to happen. I tried to go out as quick as possible. First, I thought I actually messed it up again, but suddenly, whoops, only Simon is here. Where's the rest? Yeah, but it was close, but I knew my pace and I could follow him until to the point where I got the opportunity to pass him. That was great. Fantastic race.
I mean, it was just sort of take us through it. I mean, you exchanged with Megan, the lead a couple of times. Was it more about the fuel saving here today, or was it more about track position?
You know me, right? I'm not fuel saving at all. No, I'm going to full throttle.
It was a stupid question, but I thought I may as well ask it just in case because you never know. One day you'll trip me up over this one. So yeah, actually, I was fuel saving today. If I don't ask.
No, I don't do it. But it was a great fun, and sometimes she made a little mistake on the last 2 corners, so I could catch up again and could pass her in the last straight, because that's actually one of the 2 points you can pass. Every other possibility is going to end in sudden death. And yeah, and we let us always the room. That's great driving from Megan as well.
Definitely. Well, congratulations. The win overall, the win in Masters is Yugmani. Let's have a quick chat to another of our nearly victors here today. Second in class, but on the podium overall, Megan Overstreet. I tell you what, Megan, that was a fascinating battle between yourself and friends for so much of that. Well, the second half of the race.
Yeah, that was a blast.
I knew you were going to say that, and nothing short of. It's always the case. I mean, it looked like a lot of fun, and starting off earlier on as well. I mean, you were battling for the lead with York. You came into the pits together, and when you came out, you were really, really close together. But then all of a sudden, you seemed to lose about a second to him.
Yeah, I took just a little bit too much fuel and exiting the pits, I just took it a little bit too easy. I should have been pushing a lot harder, but my tires got real slippery once I got out of the pit. So I was just losing a lot of time, just overcorrecting my car coming out of the corners.
And that's what you feel that's what cost you, well, potentially even the win, but certainly the winning class here today.
Oh yeah, it was starting to get a little hot there, and the car was sliding around a whole lot. especially when me and friends were battling there at the end.
Definitely. But still, I mean, third place overall, second class. It's not a bad result at all, is it, for a Sunday afternoon?
Oh yeah, it was a good day.
Definitely. That's Megan Overstreet to finish. Just mentioned that third overall, second in class. And while there's no one else has come across, I think that's a good place to end things here. I'm off for a bit of a breather because coming up in the channel, I will be back with so will Lewis. Charles Bushell, he'll be popping in to join us in just under an hour's time here at Apex Racing TV, where the second half of the Weekend Warriors gets kick-started. It's the SRF, the 4 spec races, big grid, big action. Tune in for that one. But from Brands Hatch, for now, thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you shortly. Goodbye.